All right, we're starting. Hi, Mr. Nelly.
Hi, Miss Carol. Can you hear me, I guess?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know why you didn't get mine, but I got yours, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if I sent you a copy of your transcript from the 1028 hearing.
Yes.
But what is on for tomorrow is different than with the 1028. What's on for tomorrow is they're trying to show that you neglected your children back in May of 28. Because you were hospitalized and the hospital thought you were a danger. You could have been a danger to yourself and others. That's what the medical records indicate. Now, later on, obviously, and you were discharged with just PTSD and possible cannabis use. But in the beginning, they had you. The doctor is saying that you had acute mania, you had psychotic features, you had delusions, hallucinations, and that's all going on. What I believe is the statements about the EMT person saying that you're in touch with the FBI, that trafficking, etc., and so forth.
So because I say that I made a report to the FBI, they basically are saying that I am a threat to my children.
Well, okay, so that's leaping over the other steps. All right.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that you were very agitated when they saw you in the hospital. And I understand that. We're going to explain that away. That's why we're talking today.
Okay.
That, again, that they thought you had acute mania, psychotic features. Again, because you're talking about this is all because the next door neighbor, he thought I was, he was, his wife told me he's trafficking children. These are the kind of, the stuff that you were saying to them, and they thought you were crazy.
Mm-hmm.
For lack of a better word. So, excuse me. So anyway, so I think the way we have to present this is I'd start by asking you, back in May 25th, 2024, were you taken to Rumsey? Obviously, you would say yes.
Mm-hmm.
And who took you to Rumsey? And you're going to say the EMTs and the police? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
And why did they take you to Rumsey? And the way I would say when the police was called by the next door neighbor. The next door neighbor, and when the next door neighbor was saying that we were in the middle of an argument, the next door neighbor said that I was trafficking my own children. Didn't he say that to you?
They made that in some of the allegations in the report.
Okay. That I was trafficking my children. And I said, no, he's the one that's trafficking. I put in a report to the FBI, etc. and so forth. And I can only assume, this is what I was you, would say, I can only assume that they thought that was delusional on my part, or that I was, for lack of a better word, crazy, and they took me because of that. And I got upset because they took me from my children. I was mad. I was angry. Would that be fair to say? I'm not putting words in your mouth.
Well, no, because that I wasn't even upset or angry or anything at the time that the admittance happened. It was just because I said that they were trafficking, and the guy said that downstairs. So if I do that, I'm admitting to like being in an emotional state that makes it a question to that already makes me questionable already to my kids.
Well, the problem is that the hospital records indicate that you were a little hostile, a little angry. But
I was angry because I found out later on, and I have text message. I could show it to you. Victoria was the one who turned the kids and abandoned them into ACS's care. I had her go. She came. The social worker, the way he presented was that one of the people there presented it as if they turned Victoria away. So they were playing games with me about placing my children, and that's when I got upset. I was not upset, and I was calm. I even had they have the yellow stickers and the red stickers on the board. Mine was yellow the whole time up until that point, and that's even proven on the security cameras.
Okay, well, we don't have those right now, but that's fine.
If you want to make it about me being upset and angry in any way, it was because anybody was posing a threat. That's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the fact that there are other factors that people try to incite parental instincts. Like they're trying to make my natural parental protective instincts, they're weaponizing my emotional state as a mother to make me look like I'm an unfit person or a crazy delusion. So I don't want to go on like I was just randomly angry. I want it to be presented that I was I was upset over the fact that they were targeting my children.
Who's targeting your children?
That this goal of calling the police and admitting me was the goal was to have my kids put into the foster care system.
Whose goal?
The people that called. And then if you want me to say that the mother, I could discredit the mother if they want me to do that.
Okay. I'm just reading to you what this judge is going on based in the medical records. Okay? Mm-hmm. The medical records are 182 pages. Patient presents with an acute mania, psychotic features including personal delusion, paranoid delusions, grandiosity, impulsivity, and arbitrary hallucinations, obsessions, and preoccupation.
Over what?
Patient. Say that. I'm assuming. I can only assume, and we'll read more. But this is patient has poor insight, judgment, impulse control, requires hospitalization for stabilization. This is what the initial record of admissions.
Right? Who's the doctor who put that in?
I can read his record. Signature, I would be able to, but I can see it later. I'll tell you later. Because then that's his handwriting that's printed.
Like, how can they have one assessment off of, they could override? I've been going to the VA and gotten only one diagnosis, and then all of a sudden these issues come up in one assessment in 1 week that overrides how many years? Almost 16 years.
That's what I'm trying. I agree with you. What I'm trying to say to you is that they're saying because of what they heard from the EMT about the FBI, sex trafficking, etc., and so forth, they just assumed.
All I did was state that I reported it. I didn't state nothing else. I didn't say that I know FBI agents. I didn't say, I never said anything. I just said I reported it. So it seems retaliatory.
Again,
I'm doing what I need to do on my behalf to get the girls home. What do you need me to say for them to? Do you need me to just discredit the fact that I was wrong about reporting it and everything? Because I just want my girls home. Because this is bullshit.
There are two ways to resolve this tomorrow. Number one, he can make a finding of neglect. All right. He's probably going to end up making a finding of neglect. I mean, my opinion is he shouldn't, but be that as it may, he may. That's why I wanted you to listen to me, because you being admitted in the beginning, and you telling, I just want to read this stuff to you so you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
1 second. Again, I started writing notes here.
No, sorry. Like while this is all happening, I have, Cynthia, because she was retiring. Hibbert, she's in charge of making the visitations happen. She worked with the foster mother to block my visitation, so I haven't had visitation in a month.
They will deal with that tomorrow. Just, I'm going to read this to you, okay, so you understand this. Per EMS, patient, neighbor, and husband activated 911 to complain regarding a yelling argument between them and the patient. Patient seen evaluated in the CPEP interview room. Patient is in no acute distress, is disheveled.
I was not. I was just out of the shower.
Let me finish reading, please. Disheveled, appears anxious, irritable. Patient makes intense eye contact, and patient's speech is pressured in style, increased in rate, rhythm, regular volume, and irritable tone. Patient thought process is tangential, with looseness of associations at times, and exhibits preoccupations and obsessions over hearing children getting raped and sex trafficked in her home next door. Patient is known to the writer, so I don't know how that is, unless this guy treated you before. Patient has recently moved to a new location in housing where she continues to obsess over feeling that her neighbors are after her for making claims against the neighbor's husband and landlord for trafficking the children. A similar report from last time patient moved from her previous house. Patient describes mood as being livid, and patient's mood appears angry, congruent with irritable affect. Patient reports events leading to the thing saying, I don't know who called, but here I am. Neighbors called 911 on me for making a case for sex trafficking. She states she has just moved into a new home and her with her 3 daughters and 6 cats. Reports that her neighbor was aware of her business in investigating sex trafficking and reported to her alleged reports that her neighbor's husband was trafficking her son, and thus reporting it to the FBI. She continues to state she has proof over the allegations, reports as well as proof on her Instagram. She continues to report that she believes she is being targeted by the landlord and neighbors for work and sex trafficking. States that the landlord placed cameras on her home to watch where she goes, as well as feeling that when she was not home, that her home is being damaging her stuff and alienating me from other neighbors. I mean, that's the English. It's not I didn't do it. That's theirs. Adds that she has been unable to afford a bill, stating her water and electric will be turned off soon.
That's not true.
States she refuses to have her children attend school, believes they can be victims of rape and abuse.
That's not true.
Patient also believes her mother, who lives in Long Island, is targeting her to be sexually assaulted by her mother's husband, but will not call her father. Adds that her mother sends information to the FBI to target her about trafficking children. She states she has no supports because she chooses it that way. She reports using cannabis, 1 joint, or cannabis gummy daily for the intent to calm herself or sleep. She also reports socially drinking 3 drinks max at events. Patient suffers from multiple psychosocial stressors, including previous history of suicide at the age of 20, multiple reports of sexual assault at the age of 22, was in the Army and has PTSD from military sexual trauma, and that she received an honorable discharge and was awarded $5,300 monthly because of the sexual trauma. Adds that she is also a single mother due to her husband dying of cancer in 2016. Adds that she is financially supported by the above stipend by the government, as well as inheritance by her husband's death. In addition to having Section 8 housing, states she is self-employed, although does not fully obtain funds through a sex trafficking business. All right. Then, and this I had read to you when we first got this way back when. Mariel, therapist at the Brooklyn Veterans Center. She said she agrees that she is delusional, meaning you.
No.
States she sees her sporadically, not consistently. Reports patient's delusions consistent throughout the entire time worked with her, years since 2016. Reports that the delusions is that people are being sex trafficked and targeting her. Used to say psychiatrist at the VA doesn't trust people, and then she stopped. Last time she saw, I guess you, appeared really on edge. Said she has conflicted with patient's delusions? No. She states that she has had conflict with patient's delusion and her children when patient will make claims that if ACS is called on the patient that the kids will be kidnapped or self-trafficked or sex trafficked. does not feel safe for the patient to return home. This is what allegedly Marielle said. We talked about that. You told me that you spoke to her. She said she didn't say.
She didn't. I spoke to her. That I don't know. That's just blatant lying.
So, anyway, case was discussed with Dr. Racklin, and at that time, the patients exhibit symptoms of acute mania with psychosis, including grandiosity, delusions of paranoia, inclusiveness, no social supports, impulsivity, mood liability, AH of children being raped, preoccupations with sex trafficking, targeting of children and people around her, medication naive, I have no idea what that means, is a single mother with 3 children. Patient is deemed to be a risk to herself and others, lacks insight, judgment, and impulse control, requires hospitalization, stabilization, and medication management. All right? Now, that's what they said when you first came. When they let you go, and we talked about this, they just gave you a Abilify, right?
Mm-hmm.
And said you had PTSD, you didn't have the bipolar disorder or the psychosis. Yeah. So, again, the way I only can suggest to you that when you first admitted that you got upset when you found out that your children were being taken by ACS. Mm-hmm. And you thought your cousin was going to take them. Mm-hmm. It turns out, and it is in here, that the cousin was there, but she decided not to take them. She left.
Yes.
She decided.
Yes, and I have proof of that.
Well, it's in the middle.
Okay.
So, okay, which the judge does. So you can say that. You can say once I found out, and our kids were going to ACS, I got upset.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. The discharge paperwork, just look at that page. I'm sorry. So, when they decided to discharge you, they once again said, okay, so discharge summary date June 3rd, 2024. Patient initially presented with symptoms of acute mania, psychosis, including pressured speech, grandiosity, label mood, paranoia, paranoid delusions, disorganized thought process. Patient was started on Abilify 2 milligrams daily, declined on other medication options, including risperidone and a couple of things I can't pronounce. And her symptoms gradually improved. While she still displays some paranoid delusions at the time of discharge, the only delusion I could think that being is them saying you about sex trafficking. Okay? I'm not telling you that this delusions. I'm just telling you that's what they think. Okay? These delusions seem to be long-standing at baseline for a short review and collateral information. The patient has significantly improved in terms of manic symptoms and impulsivity.
In a week, if I was that is such bullshit.
I mean,
you have children?
I do.
Do you want this to happen to your daughters? God forbid something happens to them or happens to you and you're no longer being able to be there to protect them? You can't keep condoning this.
Of course not. Look, we are not able to cure the whole problems with the system. I'm looking to see what the best way is for me to get my kids back.
Yeah.
I already told you after the 1028 hearing what I thought would be the best way to do it, and you didn't want to do that. And that's your choice. Right now, though, again, tomorrow is for this judge to make a determination that on 5/28/2024 that you were having a mental health issue, and that you weren't being treated for it, and that's through your fault. Now, I don't know if that's correct. That's why I'm trying to explain to you that just because you had this one incident, and meanwhile they let you out with the same medication that you had before you went in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you have a Abilify? Didn't you
I never had Abilify, but it was years ago they prescribed it for the grief, but it was never something that I was required to take.
Okay, I understand. And the fact is, they gave it to you and said, take it when you need it, right?
Yeah, take as needed.
Right. So the argument here is that day, for whatever reason, I don't know that he could make the finding of quote unquote neglect, but I think you have to, my opinion is you have to explain that when you went in there, if you acted upset at all, it's because you found out that your children were not going with your cousin and your sister's taking.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
And because they're trying to say that moment of emotional outburst was neglectful towards the kids' needs.
Or that you were, with that and all these other aspects, and that's my argument at the end. All right. It turns out that if these delusions, okay, everybody thinks these delusions are sex trafficking. But everybody thinks your statements of sex trafficking is delusions. Okay.
Who's everybody? It's the doctors at the
doctors.
So the doctors that signed this off.
And ACS.
And ACS.
All right.
And the judge agrees with them so far.
I'm not sure he 100% agrees with them, but he's got medical experts saying ABC. But the argument here is that they let you go with these same delusions. Do you follow what I'm saying?
With the belief of saying that I have the same delusions, not with the same delusions, with the belief that I'm exhibiting those same delusions.
I'll read it again. Hold on. I'll just read this last line to you.
And the only reason why they were saying that was because I was making reports in there about their mistreatment towards the patients. Some of them were bullying the patients and using IMEs as the forcible injections as a way of silencing the patients in there. That's what happened.
Please don't go into this.
I know that, but I'm telling you that.
No.
Why they wrote that?
Well, they're writing here. I'll repeat it to you again. Well, she still displays some paranoid delusions at the time of discharge.
And what are they?
Say what those delusions?
Okay, I was going to ask. What are those delusions they're claiming?
They don't say what they are.
Okay.
These delusions seem to be long-standing at baseline per chart review and collateral information. That can only mean to me, is the sex trafficking stuff. All right?
Okay.
That is the constant here with you. All right? And I'm not saying that badly. Please, I'm not putting you down for that. The only constant we have here, since I've known you 3 years before, was that you've always alleged and worried and wanted to deal with sex trafficking.
Well, I say that this is coming from someone specific. Someone keeps on having a group of people targeting me, and hence the paranoid delusions. But it's, that's what I've been stating. So you can understand what I've been stating. It's one individual. I named the individual.
Okay. I disagree with you. I think they think when you talk about sex trafficking, that you're being disillusioned about that. These are delusions on your head. That's what I believe. I believe that, you're saying I investigate sex trafficking. Just once there was this person was getting sex trafficked. Well, I heard, I called the FBI on, in their minds, I'm not telling you it's true, Mrs. Sparrow, but in their minds, they think that's delusional.
Yeah.
And that's the only constant I can see here is that this has been a long-standing baseline.
Do I have
my argument?
Oh, go ahead. Finish. I'm sorry.
No. So my argument is then that they put you in here saying you're delusional and all that stuff, but then they find out, wait a second, she's always been this way. She always has argued and been interested and worried about sex trafficking. Nothing has changed. The only thing was when she came in, she was, more she seemed, in my opinion, upset. And that upsetness is what you're going to say is, I was upset because they're taking my kids.
Yeah.
My kids were supposed to go with my cousin, and next thing I know, they're taking them. I got upset. I didn't want them then in the back of the system. They were back in the system years ago. It took me a hard time, a long time to get them out of there.
Yeah.
And they're doing good. They were doing good, my kid.
Yeah.
You know, whether, you know, you say my homeschooling, my children were doing very well, my kid.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, even they say the kids were happy, and, you know, so that's the way I think we got to play this.
Yes.
We don't have to. We can play it any way you want. I'm just the attorney. I can just tell you what I think. I'm not telling you that.
When they ask me questions about the human trafficking, what should I say then?
Just listen. I don't know. If I don't ask it on direct, and it doesn't come out on direct, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It just comes and you accept when you got it, you know. My questions are the following. You've taken my, let's go back how I want to present this. I'll call you to the stand. Obviously, I'm going to say are you the mother of the 3 girls, 3 children, and you give their names. On the 25th of 2024, were you taken to Rumsey? Yes. Who took you to Rumsey? The police and the and when you went to Rumsey, were you cooperative? In the beginning, I was cooperative, very cooperative. There come point that something changed, or something happened at Rumsey that caused you to maybe not be as cooperative and or change your mood. And you go say, yeah, I called my cousin to come pick the children up. And saying, no, my cousin refused, and I was told ACS had taken my children.
Mm-hmm.
And I got upset with that. And why'd you get upset with that? I got upset with that because my children were taken away from me years ago. And it took me a long time to get them back into my care. And my children were doing well in my care. And I just knew that here we go again. Once they're out of my care, I know that ACS is going to put many roadblocks to stop me from getting my kids back.
Yeah.
All right, they did it last time, they finally got it back.
And now they're doing it again.
Right. And ma'am, you heard during the 1028 hearing that initially you were diagnosed with many different things. But when you discharged, what were you discharged for? You were discharged for PTSD,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And overuse of cannabis, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Or cannabis misuse, I think the word is. I've been asking. Oh, wait. Well, I really don't have to even ask you that, but it's in the medical records because you said it. But how often do you use cannabis?
I use it as a sleep aid. At night, I'll take it medically.
Right, and you have a marijuana card, do you not?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I know that. It's in the records. So you were in the hospital from the 25th to the 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct?
Yes.
And you discharged were you discharged with any medication?
Yes.
And what was it?
0.2 milligrams of Abilify.
Okay. And when you were discharged, they told you to take it. Did they tell you how often you have to take it, or did they leave it up to you?
They left it up to me.
Okay. When you were May 25th, 2024, were you a danger to yourself or anybody else?
No.
I don't know what else. I don't think we have to ask. I don't know what else to say.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get up and they They get up and start asking questions about sex trafficking and all that. I'm going to object. I didn't bring it up to that judge.
All right. And can I tell you what had happened that morning so you can understand what was going on and why it was a setup? I had went to those same cops asking to assist in helping me with her. So that morning they were supposed to help me. And then they came to the apartment and then it got turned into what it was. And I wasn't disheveled. I just came out the shower. I was still wet. I wasn't even fully clothed.
All right. Well, let's say that. What I'll say is when, by the way, prior to you taking a rump seat, you know, what happened was I just got out of the shower. When the police came to my apartment, I just got out of the shower. I wasn't even, you know.
Yeah, we was getting ready to go to the park, me and the girls.
Right. I don't know what else to do.
All right. Well, I want to address the fact that this bitch that's the foster mother keeps on threatening my kids, and they have to sneak and tell me. So
threatening how?
So she's threatening to break the things that they love and enjoy if they don't behave. She tried to keep my daughter out of cheerleading and punished her for her grades. But then when I got access to her grades and I contacted the Department of Education, the lowest grade she had was a C minus, D maybe, 1D. And then, but everything else was A and Bs. And then my daughter tried to reach out for help because of what was happening, and then now she keeps the phones from them.
All right, I'll do it. We'll bring that up tomorrow.
Okay. I need, and we got a new lady who's on a thing. The lady and her were working together to take away my visitation. So now I have no visitation, and they're making it very difficult.
I'll deal with it. Just remind me and we'll bring that up tomorrow.
All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. So it's 2:30 tomorrow.
Now, if there was an arrest, let's say someone got arrested for this shit, that would make this case null and void, right? I would no longer be delusional if there was an actual arrest made.
Yes, but no, not necessarily.
Or would it get worse because an arrest was made?
Let's just deal with what we deal with, okay?
I need to understand, Mr. Nelly, I just found out that I might be possibly autistic, like Willow, which might explain why sometimes when people try to tell me subtle things and hints, I always get it. I need to be told directly.
Okay. Why? I'm not, and please bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to be a jerk about this, but why would someone just bring that up to you now? You've never been evaluated for this before?
My mother hid it. And then it's what they use to incite me, those extra emotional responses. Why I became fixated on certain issues or certain things. And then she knew about it and she weaponized it. And then used it to weaponize it as a form of alienation, to ostracize me from people who didn't understand me. Because by appearances alone, I don't look autistic. So if I exhibit any weird symptoms, quote unquote, I say weird very loosely, people automatically just assume whatever they want to assume on that and not understand what they're dealing with. But I wasn't officially diagnosed with it yet. I'm just finding out through my daughter because she's getting diagnosed with it. And that's another thing that they're neglecting to do, is have her properly diagnosed with her autism so that she get the appropriate help. And
so did you get evaluated back in November by a Dr. Soroka, Soroka?
Mm-hmm. For
did you?
In regards to you're talking about
New directions. Did you go to New Directions?
Yes, but we didn't talk on that. The goal, everyone keeps talking on the same thing. They just keep making it very clear and they're not hiding. They're being very blatant that if I keep talking about the human trafficking, they're going to go that route of making me look crazy. That so I go in there and I talk and I dodge whatever questions or traps they try to make me say, because what they try to do is they try to big up my ego, like when I'm doing such amazing work so I could talk about it. And then when I talk about it, if it's such amazing work, and then I talk about the work I'm doing, one, they get information, and two, they also can claim and state that I'm being obsessed with the topic. Meanwhile, they're the ones who are bringing up the topic.
All right. Are you process of establishing psychiatric care at the VA?
Yes. I'm supposed to have an appointment coming up because I'm pursuing that and everything. Along with menopause, I'm premenopausal. These are all emotional states that they could claim that is, you understand what I was saying? Like if I am dealing with menopause, autism combined with PTSD, you could easily mistake it as bipolar and erratic.
Well, you're not bipolar. Okay.
I know I'm not. I'm just saying if they want to
So
go,
just
if we want to play this game from their angle when using a diagnosis that will discredit it, but how does that affect my parental rights from there?
I hear. All right. See you tomorrow at 2:30. Okay.
All right.
Have any other questions?
You just didn't answer my questions though. What
Huh?
what will happen if
What?
what will happen if I mention human trafficking? Should I say that I am no longer pursuing that, I am no longer doing that, I am no longer being on an investigator or PI work or doing any PI work?
Well, is that true?
Yes.
If they ask you that question, I would turn around and say, I'm no longer involved. I'm not doing this anymore. Because nobody wants to, because it would appear that that's why I'm here.
Okay. Thank you.
What else can you say?
Well, I just want to make sure that it's clear, because then I don't want to walk into a trap of, oh, well, I did say this, but because I'm an honest person and I like to be honest. But if I have to say what I need to say to get my kids back, then I'd rather people say that to me. But I understand laws prevent people to saying shit, but we're violating laws anyways right now. So, fuck them.
See you tomorrow, right?
All right. See you tomorrow. Bye.